Hello and welcome back to your Grounded. After watching the Acorn Madness of the last video, today we've got a much simpler set to cover. Now as usual, please do leave a rating if you learned something new and subscribe for more coverage of deep dives into the mechanics of Grounded. Today we're looking at the Ant set, so let's get into it. Starting off, we'll be looking at what its armor rating translates into for usable figures. Taking the same one-handed strike from the Orb Weaver with no armor gets us hit for 75% of our maximum health. What you're seeing here once again is my damage ruler. It's a device I use to measure the health and stamina bars in Grounded. 25 segments make up the whole, each segment represents 4%. We can then eyeball the segments and see if it's a quarter or half a segment to get an accurate guess as to what the remainder is. So when equipping the full Ant set and taking the same hit, we're hit for 58% of our maximum health, which means we've taken 17% less damage when wearing the armor set compared to no armor at all. Not great, but you should not be using this armor for combat. If you've got the choice, you should be using something like the Acorn set or the Ladybug set. So looking at the set bonus, first of all we have Humant. This makes soldier ants completely passive to you, allowing you to raid their food chambers and steal their eggs at will. The latter, however, will result in all nearby ants becoming aggressive, including soldier ants, so please be careful. I would show you this, but my save hasn't had any ant eggs in a while, as ant eggs can only be laid once the worker ant population has fallen below its maximum. You will have to cull your ants once in a while if you want ant eggs to spawn. If this safety measure as a mechanic wasn't put in place, then eggs would be constantly laid and there would be nothing but ants in your garden. The second thing we have to note here is that you cannot save yourself if you run in without the full set equips. The ants will aggro to you and become hostile, and they will remain hostile even if you change to the ant set as fast as possible. You'll have to lose the aggro by getting up high somewhere or getting it stuck behind something so that the pathfinding AI resets. My save did bug out once, not sure why, most likely because I saved inside the anthill with the ant set equipped and then reloaded it, and I think the Humant perk maybe got stuck, so you can see me not in the full ant set and not getting attacked by soldier ants. Death fixed this problem and I wasn't able to replicate it, unfortunately. Another useful thing about wearing the ant set is that you can bait out soldier ants away from other soldier ants so you don't get swarmed. If you hit one soldier that's too close to another one, they will both aggro you and it'll make your life much harder. But as you can see, if you hit one and even drag it through another group, the other group will not aggro you. This is until you hit the hostile ant once again within a certain distance of the passive group. They will then swarm you. Beware, however, just like any other insect, the soldier ants will investigate certain noises like combat, so if you're fighting too close to another pack of the same species, then they'll perform a special animation, as you can see here, that will vary from insect to insect, but this is the ants one. The ants will come up and tilt their head, kind of like a dog, getting inquisitive, and they'll come a little bit closer, each a little bit at a time. If they find you in combat, they will help their comrade and they will attack you as well. That's why it's best to practice backpedaling while fighting to avoid being overrun. To avoid getting overrun, even in swarming places like the Western Anthill, you can use the pebblet strategy, so you just need to throw a pebblet at the one that you want to come towards you, crouch, and then back off safely. If you break the line of sight too early, they'll sometimes act like they don't know where it came from and they'll just go back to whatever they were doing and de-aggro you after a certain amount of time has passed. It's a weird thing to get used to, but once you get used to it, you can see it's here, it's done correctly and it's done wrong as well. Sometimes two will break off from the group and then you can lead them out of earshot and deal with them. Rinse and repeat once you've got rid of all the ants. At first I thought it was just about line of sight of the ants. As you can see here, I throw a pebblet and the ant I hit and the only other ant that can see me starts to come towards me. But as you can see by the second clip, it doesn't really work that way. I'm not confident in saying that this is definitely a line of sight kind of deal. He's staring right at me and I throw it, it lands on his friend and he just doesn't care. This leads me to my second suspicion that it's kind of like a pulse from your character. Whenever you do damage to anything, you issue kind of a big cylindrical pulse from the center of your character, and anything that touches just aggroes you straight away. So on to armor perks now. This time much more simple. Each piece has plus hauling added, and there's actually no description for this on the perk menu, which I thought was weird. Normally you can carry up to 5 bits of haul being limited at the moment to grass planks and weed stems at this point in development. Upon equipping one piece, you'll get +1 to your carrying capacity. Equipping all three will of course let you carry 3 more pieces, totaling 8. This makes sense because storage for planks and stems on the pallets total 24, which is exactly 3 trips. Now we have two things to note here. One is that you can combine an ant head, ant paw and ant mandible using the smoothie station to make a batch of workers comp. This increases your carrying capacity by another +2 for 2 minutes. Though quite expensive at the start of the game, if you've got loads of ant parts piling up, here is a great way to use them. Finally, be sure to optimize your hauling by using the hotbar armor swap method, as this is especially important while using expensive consumables like a workers comp. If you've not seen or have no idea what I'm talking about, take a look at my 10 things I wish I would have known before playing Grounded video. The link is in the description and on screen now. There we are. That's everything to cover for the Ant armor set in Grounded. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please do give this video a positive rating and subscribe for more if you're interested. Thanks ever so much for joining me, and take care guys.